Now I love to farm content, and you know who else loves to farm content? Bungie. So today I bring you an epic crossover, even more epic than if Sharknado teamed up with Jaws. That's right, today I welcome you to a new series in which I will look to take on every raid currently in Destiny 2. Now some side notes, because there's always side notes in these videos. Numero uno, I have not played this game in 2 years and recently got back on it for the final shape. So there's some raids in this series I've never completed, and the ones I have completed I'm going to be rustier than that tractor you can find on GTA in that bush near Mackenzie Airfield. Side note 2, the raids will be played in order of age, so we're starting off with Vault of Glass, then heading into Crota's End, King's Fall, Last Wish, Garden of Salvation, Deep Stone Crypt, Vow of the Disciple, Root of Nightmares, and finally the newest raid, which came out 3 days before the making of this video and literally took teams over 24 hours to complete, Salvation's Edge. Now the final side note is I have no friends that played or play this game, so what better way to complete these raids than using LFG. I can't wait to get dropped into Oryx with a 12-year-old child who thinks Legend of Acrius is the way to go. But in all seriousness, if you do want to enjoy this video, you know how to raid and don't mind being in videos, drop your name below or send me a message on Xbox using this gamer tag and we could set up a little raid team to aid me in my challenge. Trust me, I need all the help I can get. Also, before we get into this, I'll be dropping a video very soon where we'll be taking on every dungeon currently in Destiny 2 all in one video, so stay tuned for that. Now enough rambling, let's go ahead and jump into the Vault of Glass. Now before we actually get to standing on plates and opening big round doors, I thought I'd show you my build to take this bitch on. Now as a hunter main, I of course use Golden Gun, Still Hunt and Celestial Nighthawk to give Atheon the wettest dick of all time, and then due to the Singers being Arc and Stasis on the week I recorded this, I went for Prolonged Engagement, a Stasis SMG with absolute dogshit perks, but it's literally the easiest raid in the game, so I reckon it'll do, and the Line in the Sand, an Arc Linear Fusion with an opening shot, because, you know, the Templar has moves like Jagger. Now finally, with an inside look at my gear and an LFG group located, it was time to head straight for Atheon's Sphincter. We start off by targeting his Glutus Maximuses, and if you don't know what that is, I already know your school life was extremely dull. Now a precipice for all new players, in no way is this a guide to each raid, no. This is simply a watch along of your favourite brainless content creator getting shouted at by people in an LFG. So if you came looking for a guide, this video is not for you. With that being said, back to the Glutus Maximuses, which for some reason, but only the Lord above knows, Atheon's house has 3 of them, one on the right, one on the left, and another one in the middle, and after standing on each bum tree for a certain amount of time, Atheon's shaft will be erect in the sky, and the door will open so you can head on down to the first encounter. Now on the way to the Templar's room, me and the boys got to chatting and chinwagging, and it was at this moment that I realised this was not a normal raid LFG group. No, I had genuinely stumbled upon a once in a lifetime miracle event. Turns out my teammates were legitimate professional speedrunners, which is great for them, however not great for me, as I now have to make a semi-interesting script from a 36-minute VOD. That's fucking mint. Thank you boys, thank you. Once we arrived at Atheon's sex dungeon where he keeps oversized hydras, I was now introduced properly to just how easy this raid was going to be. The first part of this 3-tiered encounter was to stop the Vex from sacrificing themselves to Atheon's ballsacks. Is it weird I'm making sex jokes about a giant robot? Probably. Am I going to stop? No. Now, as I said before, I'm literally playing with Sweatical, so not a single one of these robotic fucks turned themselves into radiolorium fluid, or as we call it, spunk, and we swiftly moved on to the oracles. Now I know what you're thinking. Surely, Mr. Lhynxy, we're going to be seeing you do something other than shooting at ads, and ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to announce you are correct. Instead of shooting ads, I'm now going to be watching someone proceed to one-man army NoobTube 720 TNAC every single oracle you've ever seen. I was in complete shock as this man did not miss a shot on any oracle. I'm fairly certain he had a fucking macro or some sort of unforeseen modding software, because this shit was clinically unhinged, and so far in this raid, I've done about as much for the team as Barney the Bear has done for the investigation of our universe. Fuck all. After all the necessary steps had been taken to make the Templar as least horny as possible, it was time to take his shield off. Now, usually you'd have to wait a few seconds to charge up the super of the shield before blasting this man. However, as I'm sure you're all well aware by now, I am playing with Datto. So he proceeded to take his shield off within 0.1 second of obtaining the Aegis, and my team proceeded to absolutely dominate the Templar. And the reason I say my team is because, as you can see, my character has ice cubes for feet, and I can't stand on an edge to save my life. And then, to make matters worse, we're going down to a cube of health, but our relic runner decided to throw. But don't worry, we don't need the oracle step, because this man once again slapped his meaty dick over the Templar's shield, and it was finally time to say goodnight to Atheon's favourite Hydra. I fuck you not, this team might be the best LFG group you'll ever find. And if you think that statement is far-fetched, think again, because ladies and gentlemen, what I'm about to show you is borderline criminal. The Gorgons were so scared of what we had just done to the Templar, they straight up decided to not show up. Now, obviously, once again, this is some unknown speedrun tactic some of the boys knew about, which I was previously blinded to. However, as we make our way through the maze, I must stress that there were genuinely only 2 of us within the raid group who weren't semi-professional Destiny 2 raiders. We both came to the agreement after the raid that this was the pinnacle of LFG groups on Destiny. I know it's all downhill from here. And speaking of downhill, I welcome you to the stupidest jumping puzzle ever, where there are around 15 platforms to jump on. However, you can get to the other side in around 4 jumps. Absolutely fucking incredible mechanic. And of course, just before we throw some missiles in Atheon's bumcrack, it was time to grab the secret chest. Get in there, a vision of confluence I'm never going to use because scout rifles are fucking ass. Let's fucking go! And finally, we're here. It feels like but 15 minutes ago. We were at the start of the oh, shit, no, never mind, we actually fucking were. But now it's time to show this overgrown Minotaur what's what. And we start off with a good old-fashioned ad clearing, because who doesn't love shooting robots all night? Definitely not me. Definitely. Eventually, once the boys had stopped pissing around on Mars and Venus, they arose out the portals again, where we all met in the centre like a Power Rangers meetup group, and shit on a few Praetorians before finally killing Atheon's final horny Hydra. Now with all of his partners sent to Vex Heaven, Atheon finally had the gall to emerge from a vortex, but I decided to play him at his own game, and I dipped into Venus with 2 of the boys. Now, this is arguably the hardest part of the raid, and it's a complete piece of piss. Basically, 3 people get unconsensually teleported to either Venus or Mars, in which a relic will spawn within that area. Once picked up, the 3 of you will need to call out where you are and run down to the end and get ready to shoot oracles. The team on the outside will call out the oracles you need to shoot in order, and don't worry if for some reason you're still using this as a guide, you are brainless, but I do read oracles later on in this encounter, as Atheon took 3 damage phases. There's around 4 rounds of oracles shooting before you need to head back to the vault room and get ready for damage. Now, I fully expected us to one phase this cunt. However, someone didn't move when they got put in Atheon's kinky prison, so we didn't even get in below half health. And please don't even comment about my accuracy, because I was clearly not all there in the head when this damage phase was taking place. So off we went back to Venus to shoot some more glowing balls. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little confused at first at the callouts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, but I must say this is actually pretty easy, and it might be easier than L1, R1 and so forth. Anyway, I'm going off topic. Once again, we blitzed the oracles and headed back out to miss every single fucking shot on Atheon and leave him on a pube of health yet again. But hey, at least this time he didn't imprison all of us inside his testicular-shaped blue prison cells. You always gotta take the positives. You always gotta take the positives. Now for my one person still using this clearly satire series as a complete guide for raiding, here's me reading oracles. As you can see, they will glow in the main room in a specific order. All you need to do is count the first 2 that glow, and then through process of elimination, the team in Venus or Mars can shoot all of them in order. A quick example of the callouts we used here is now being shown on your screen. Use your eyes to look. The oracle callout will be 2, 6, and that's it. No need to overcomplicate it and tell them 3, because you always have to remember when LFGing with people, they have absolutely no brain capacity and will forget everything you tell them. Now, after my absolute masterclass on callouts, the boys came back to the overworld, and we finally reached into Atheon's rectum, pulled out his sphincter and gave it the big old "We Are Destiny" moment, and completed the first raid of the series. I'm fucking him. In all seriousness though, this was a solar eclipse type event, as I know that no other LFG group will be like this one, so the boys on this team will hold a special place in my heart until the day I die, and if they ever stumble upon this video, I am thankful for our time together. That is extremely depressing, so let's just move on to a quick raid review. Now, I absolutely love this raid. I loved it in D1 when it was significantly easier, and when it came to D2, it was gave a few more mechanics, which in actual fact probably made the raid even easier too. The raid weapon being Vex Mythoclast is obviously absolutely fucking elite, and one of the better weapons in D1 and D2. I already had it going into this clear, so I weren't too pissed about getting a chest piece. However, it did take me 13 clears to get. With all this being said, Vault of Glass has some extremely fun encounters. It's a raid that can be taken super seriously or extremely chill, and that's why I think it's one of my favourite raids. So with that in mind, it takes its place in A tier on my tier list. Now, if you did enjoy this video, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. Pretty much all of my content is like this, barring a few vlogs I'm going to be posting here and there. So if you enjoy this sort of stuff, slap the red button. It's free and helps me get one step closer to being able to earn money from this shit. Also, I completely forgot to mention at the start of the video that we will also be taking on Wrath of the Machine, but for some reason Bungie has decided to literally forget that raid and that entire DLC ever existed, so I doubt we'll ever get it in D2, but at least it's still on D1, but the next raid will be Crota's End, so I'll see you all for that when we get there, and be on the lookout for the new Elden Ring DLC full playthrough, and of course the dungeon video I was talking about at the start of the video. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and remember, if you want to get involved in these raids, shoot me a message on Xbox, and we'll try and sort something out. Peace out, motherfuckers.